The best healthcare is there in ways big and small. There when we most and least expect it. We may not see it, but we feel it. It lets us know we're not in this alone. Everyone deserves a healthcare partner who never quits. One who's there for what matters. United Healthcare. There for what matters. The best healthcare is there in ways big and small. There when we most and least expect it. We may not see it, but we feel it. It lets us know we're not in this alone. Everyone deserves a healthcare partner who never quits. One who's there for what matters. United Healthcare. There for what matters.
Want your boss to put some real action behind the rhetoric when they talk about making your workplace more inclusive? Find out how to hold their feet to the fire and demand diversity on the Diversity Dude podcast.
Hello there, and welcome back to the Diversity Dude podcast. I'm your host, Lambert Fisher, marriage and family therapist, award-winning author, and national speaker on the topic of multicultural awareness and diversity. And for those of you who are interested in even more positive and encouraging tips and strategies beyond what I share in podcasts like this, then feel free to check out my award-winning book, Diversity in Clinical Practice, nationally recognized for the unique way in which it addresses the often difficult topic of multicultural awareness and diversity. Designed for more than just therapists, if you're a helping professional in any way, Diversity in Clinical Practice can help you meet the greatest variety of cultural needs possible for those whom you serve, and it's available in paper and audiobook versions for your convenience. And whether it be through my one-on-one relationship building efforts as a therapist or my informing and empowering efforts as an author and speaker, know that my personal mission is to do my part to improve the world one strengthened relationship at a time. So, today I want to share with you a few encouraging words about what to do when it's not your problem. So, during a recent diversity training I facilitated, someone took me up on the continual offer that I give, asking any question, including ones that may have been received in a negative way by others previously, if they would help provide guidance in how to show care and consideration cross-culturally. The question I was asked this time was, so, every time I turn on the TV, all I hear about these days is the Israel-Palestine conflict. Now, I get that it's bad, as wars and conflicts always are, but is it bad that I don't care like others around me seem to? I mean, I've got enough problems on my own to worry about every day. What do I do when it's not my problem? Now, I appreciate questions like this, particularly because despite how they may seem to many, I believe that the question does come from a sincere internal conflict where someone sees something legitimately worth caring about, but they're worried about their lack of care and what that means. And since this is something that I know for a fact therapeutically that many individuals have wrestled with, maybe even some of you listening, then I thought I'd share a few encouraging considerations that I offered in response to this question. And hopefully it may benefit you as well as you determine what the healthiest decision is for your life. Consideration number one. It is okay to feel or not feel as strongly or passionately about something as someone else. We all have the challenge of identifying our own priorities in life on a daily basis. Our priorities influence what we dedicate our thoughts as well as our actions to over time. Some priorities change on a regular basis, others stay the same. Some priorities impact us directly, and others reflect values that we have for the world as a whole in which we live, even though they don't directly impact us on a daily basis. It is because of this that it is completely understandable for you to not have passionate feelings about a conflict in a country where you've never been, nor do you feel you have personal ties to. If you're not in the armed forces or in politics, then you likely won't have a direct impact on what happens, good or bad, nor will you feel a direct impact based on the outcome. So I get it. If any of those or many other factors change, then your level of passion and priority and potential involvement reflecting that priority would naturally change as well. That being said, it would be unwise to compare yourself, your feelings, and your actions to others who have differing motivations and level of involvement. Instead, you will be best served to at least first acknowledge that just because you don't care in the same way doesn't mean that you don't care at all. You don't have to have personal connections with those in the midst of conflict to care for the well being of everyone involved. To feel sad when you learn about the many lives that have been lost in the process, or to feel empathy for those closely related to conflicts more directly than you. Which leads to consideration number two. You can be considerate of those around you who do feel more passionately about things than you do. Maybe they feel more passionate because they feel close cultural connections to those directly involved in the conflict. Maybe that's a historical connection from their family of origin. Maybe they know people there who are currently closely impacted and are worried about their well being on a regular basis. Maybe who they know isn't from there either, but they may be a relief worker who has chosen to help those who are directly impacted by the conflict and thus are similarly at risk of losing their lives even as they support others. Again, while you don't have to feel the same level of concern as someone else more directly connected to the conflict, it may be beneficial to your personal and professional relationships with those around you to at least show a level of empathy and care and concern for the well-being of anyone instead of communicating directly or indirectly how little you care simply because it's not your problem. And sometimes what may feel like a lack of care for what is far away due to legitimately pressing concerns in your immediate environment may be experienced by others around you as a callous disregard for them and everyone they care about. While you can't control how other people experience you, you can do your best to accept how you feel as legitimate, while also showing a reasonable level of empathy for everyone or anyone who may be hurting. Doing this may be what someone around you needs to hear or see to feel validated in their increased state of worry or concern. And as though the environment that you're in is at least a safe place for them to have and express their own level of concern, even if that level of concern isn't shared by everyone. And consideration number three, you don't have to remain ignorant to maintain healthy self care boundaries. What do I mean? Well, first, as I mentioned before, ignorance is not about a lack of intelligence. Rather, it's about a lack of knowledge. And we all lack knowledge about a variety of things in life. I mention this because many people understandably make the self care decision to avoid watching or reading the news out of an effort to avoid the abundance of negative and discouraging stories that not only never seem to end, but which also have a detrimental impact on their personal efforts to live their emotionally healthiest, best lives on a daily basis. And just so it's clear, I'm very much a fan of intentional efforts to moderate the information we surround ourselves with, making every reasonable effort to input more positive things than negative things, and creating those positive experiences rather than just hoping they happen on their own. However, while there is a time for positivity, hope, and encouragement, there's also a time to expose ourselves to the harsh realities of the world in which we live. In part, because if things are ever going to change in this world, we need to be aware of the needs for change to exist if we're ever going to identify our own unique roles in making the world better. Also, in part, because there's many who don't have the privilege to just close their eyes to those harsh realities. And if we're ever going to help those individuals live their best lives, at some point, we need to do more than just hope. We need to act. And you won't know when or how to act if you're not aware of the needs, struggles, and harsh realities of others. Now, let me be clear. You don't need to become a more political person or become a more religious person to learn about the struggles of others. The more you know, the better you can empathize. The more you empathize, the more effectively you can act when it's the time to do so. Some will act in more direct and involved ways. Others can act by advocating in local conversations or even offering necessary behind the scenes support for those who are directly involved in making changes. And for some, they show their care by voting for appropriately offering advocacy pressure to their political leaders to help when and if needed. I don't claim to have all the answers to what should be done to help protect the lives of individuals and families in physical and emotionally harm's way today in every situation, nor the answers to what actions can be taken today to bring resolution to decisions that were made years ago that still have significant impacts for years to come and for generations that thereof. However, my hope for you is that even if it's not your problem, because you're not directly impacted by difficult life circumstances of others, that you will find a way to maintain healthy balance and self care, while also leave room to stay reasonably informed. Show your genuine care for the well being of anyone, and if and when possible, find a way to support those whose problem it is and who don't have the privilege to not think about it. And with that, I'll say thanks again for listening to the Diversity Do podcast. If you have any pressing diversity-related questions that you'd like me to address on an upcoming podcast, or if your organization is in need of a shame-free or empowering guest speaker or training on this often sensitive topic, then feel free to reach out to me directly at www.diversitymadesimple.com. And if you know of anyone else who can benefit from a positive and encouraging perspective on this often difficult topic, then feel free to reach out to them directly and send them a link to this podcast so they can be encouraged as well, or share with them my award-winning book, Diversity in Clinical Practice, available at Amazon.com. And as usual, I look forward to addressing as many topics as possible in future podcasts to help you improve as many relationships as possible at work, at home, and in your community. And as always, remember this: you don't need to know everything about everyone in order to have a positive impact on someone. Thank you all for tuning in, and have a great day.
Tune in each week and find out how to demand and implement diversity at your job. To hear more, check out previous Diversity Dude shows on ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.
Have you heard the news about the new COVID-19 vaccine? The FDA has just approved the updated vaccine, and it's now available to keep you and your family safe. So get ready to roll up your sleeve. These vaccines are an effective tool to fight COVID-19. They target the variants that we know are circulating in our communities right now. So make a plan for you and your family. Contact your doctor, your clinic, your healthcare provider, or your local pharmacist and schedule appointments. The vaccine is authorized and recommended for all Minnesotans aged 6 months and older. Stay safe this fall and winter with the new COVID-19 vaccine.
Ridership on Metro Transit is up. The number of folks taking buses, light rail, commuter trains has jumped by 21% over last year. This means more reliable, extended service and more connection for all of us riders. Have you noticed the expanded service on some key routes? Trips have been added to the Metro Orange Line, and the frequency has improved to every 15 minutes. And the Metro A line operates every 10 minutes between noon and 6 p.m. on weekdays. Not only that, the bus route that operates in the core routes 2, 10, and 18 all have weekday service increased to every 10 minutes between noon and 6 p.m. All across the system, you're seeing service that is available earlier and later, and more service available on weekends. So come along for the ride on your Metro Transit.
It's not just another day in your life. Things are changing for the better. At Comcast, we see those changes, and we're thinking about how we use technology today to live, work, learn, and play. And we're building for the future now, so we're better prepared for the wants and needs of tomorrow. That's why Comcast is rolling out multi-gig internet speeds to more than 50 million homes and businesses before the end of 2025, making our already industry-leading network even faster, smarter, greener, and more reliable. Over the decades, Comcast has been your partner, working hard to serve your community, and will continue to be your partner. We're expanding our gigabits so you can enjoy the tiny bits that matter most.
When I walked across that stage at my high school graduation, I was excited, but confused about my next step. Then I walked through the doors at Doherty Family College. Doherty Family College is part of the University of St. Thomas. It's a 2-year college that lets you earn an associate's degree and puts you on a path to your bachelor's degree. Classes are small, so I have a personal relationship with professors committed to my success. Like the name says, they treat us like family. They call us scholars because they believe we could do anything we put our minds to. They set us up for excellence with free tutoring, and that's not the only thing that's free. Laptops, books, even breakfast and lunch, and bus fare. That's part of the package here at Doherty Family College. It's even free to apply. So do like I did. Go to dfc.stthomas.edu and set up a tour. We'd be excited to welcome you to our family here at Doherty Family College.
You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house creating broadcast quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.